Breakout was 343's attempt at a round-based mode in Halo, and while I did not exactly hate the mode entirely, it certainly missed the mark to some extent. Throughout Halo 5's lifespan, the mode went through a variety of changes, as 343 attempted to find a version that would resonate with players, and at the end of the day, while some of the versions were liked by players, it was never massively adopted by the community like Search and Destroy has been in Call of Duty. Despite this, I hope 343 takes another shot at Breakout in Infinite, as I feel with some changes, this mode could really carve out a solid niche. So first, I just want to run down the different iterations of Breakout and then give my brief opinions on each of the modes, and then we'll speculate a bit on what Breakout could be in Halo Infinite, or kind of other options that 343 could take in terms of a round-based mode. So first of all, there's the original Breakout, or what I'm going to refer to as Breakout 1.0. Then there's Breakout 2.0, Arena Breakout, and then although it has a different name and was not a 343 developed mode originally, there's Extermination. In full disclosure, I did stop playing Halo 3 before Breakout 2.0 and Extermination were implemented, so my thoughts on these modes are just based off reading forum posts and watching some videos that I did for research for this video. Breakout 1.0 was the mode that shipped with the game, which featured modified shields and HP, and was played on forge maps that were stylized as an orbital UNSC training facility. In this mode, you had pistol and SMG starts, and there was no radar. You also had 1 life per round and played to a score of 5. You would win the rounds by either eliminating the enemy team or simply capping a flag that was usually placed somewhere in the middle of the map. The different maps had weapon pickups along with power-ups on some of the different maps. This mode was pretty fun, but with the changes to the shields and HP, and the forge maps with a totally different aesthetic to me, it just felt too different from regular Halo. I would basically just play it when I was specifically in the mood for Breakout, instead of something that you'd want to play in conjunction with the other modes. Or at the start of the HCS season when it was still included in the map game rotation, that was just a total mess. Overall though, this was honestly still my favorite form of Breakout that I personally played. The modified shields and HP coupled with no armor made it really possible to make some cool plays from time to time. So the next mode that I played a good amount of was Arena Breakout, and oh boy, was this mode probably the worst version of Breakout. So rather than the Breakout specific maps and HP/shield settings, Arena Breakout just threw you on the regular maps with regular HP and shield settings, sharing the same win conditions as Breakout 1.0. Along with this, you also spawned with the standard weapons, which means the pistol and AR, instead of having an SMG and a pistol. You also got grenades and had radar. This mode was just a total mess. The higher time to kill, along with the standard weapon spawns, meant almost every round was just rushing towards power weapons and power-ups, and then once one team got them, the rounds usually slowed down to a crawl as people just crouched around to try and stay off radar. When I first found out they were adding this mode as a playlist into Halo 5, I thought it would be perfect. But I quickly ended up disliking it and got to the point where I actively hated playing it. Next, we will talk about the 2 versions I did not play, since they were added later on into Halo 5's lifespan. Breakout 2.0 swapped out the modified shield and HP settings for the default health and shields, and spawned you with a shotgun and upgraded pistol. The upgraded pistol basically just gave you an extended mag from what I can tell. Breakout 2.0 also added radar into the playlist, shares the same win conditions, and upgraded the existing maps in various ways. Although I can't really comment on if the maps were actually upgraded since I didn't play the mode and didn't get to go around the maps and test them out myself. Watching gameplay footage and reading posts, it does not seem like this mode was well received at all. The addition of radar seems to be something that people were not a huge fan of, and the Breakout maps did not seem that well suited for standard HP and shields. Feel free though to disagree with me here, as like I said, this was not something that I personally got in and played. Lastly, let's talk about the mode I really wish I did get to play, and that's Extermination. Extermination originally started as a community mode, and the gist of it, unlike Breakout, was that you could actually respawn. However, the catch was the respawn timer was set to 15 seconds, and if all your teammates died resulting in an extermination, then you would lose the round. This led to some pretty intense moments, as one player might be fighting to stay alive to respawn his teammates, and while all his other teammates are watching and cheering him on, or, yelling at him because it's the internet. This mode utilized a handful of smaller maps that were specifically made for the mode, which meant the maps did not have many hiding spots, as that would cause a lot of frustration when you were trying to find the final player alive. Unlike Breakout, where you could capture a flag to win, the only way to win this mode was to exterminate the enemy team. From what I can gather, this and Breakout 1.0 were by far the 2 most enjoyed versions of Breakout, So I hope the 343 takes the feedback and tries to build upon this mode in Infinite. The only problem I see with both of them is they almost require the creation of forged or purpose-built maps, which could take a lot of resources on the game's launch. Ideally, I would like to see them come out with actual developer-made maps rather than forged ones. But I doubt 343 would spend the time making maps that are only applicable to one mode. So that is my quick and dirty thoughts on Breakout in Halo 5. I hope 343 continues to try and build upon the feedback they have been given, as I think having a round-based mode with limited respawns can lead to epic memorable moments that players really enjoy. If you've ever played Search and Destroy, Defuse and Counter-Strike, Gears of War, Rainbow Six, and a variety of other games, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Getting that 3k to win a round or that ace feels all that much cooler when it's in a round-based mode when the players don't just respawn. When you get a triple kill in a regular Halo 5 mode, obviously you're like, oh sweet, that was a triple kill. But it's nothing like getting a 3k to win a round and your team's just all watching. One other thought I want to throw out that I think would be cool to see in Infinite is an adaptation of Control from Black Ops 4. If you do not know what Control is, it's basically a 2-point capture mode with a set amount of respawns. I can't remember exactly what the round timer was, but it's kinda low, and then if you cap 1 point, you get a bunch of extra time to cap the second point. So you either win by using up all the enemy team respawns, which I think was set at 20 or 30, again it's been a little bit. Or you win by, if you're on the defending team, not letting them cap any of the points before the time runs out, or the attacking team, if you just cap both points, you don't have to eliminate all the respawns. It was honestly a mixed bag when I used to play Black Ops 4, it's been a bit since I played, but I would say like maybe, I don't know, half the time you'd win through respawns and then half the time you just cap both points, or usually you wouldn't defend both points without getting rid of all their respawns. It was kind of rare for them to just run out of time without using all their respawns. If you follow the COD Pro series at all, you will know some of the epic moments this has led to at the end of games where players clutch against terrible odds, like technically there'll be 2 people alive, they have no respawns, the enemy team has all 5 alive and they still have 2 respawns, so it's kind of like a 2v7, and the 2 people clutch it out. Like, that's just awesome to watch.
Cleaning up. Tej doesn't die. We lose Dashi, but that's going to be a 3v10 now. The slide comes through. Scumpy finds a second. That's beautiful work from Optic. Carmen out on the point. 3-man cap. The final 3. They're going to get the first tick. Nade comes through, doesn't find much. Scumpy trailing the door. The trophies work. The shots are there. Can they get it done? The second tick. The final 5 lives now remaining for Elevate. And what a round this is going to be. Can these players get it done? There's 2 of them remaining. It's Karma and it's going to be Scump. There's the slide come through and they're going to get the cap.
I think that this mode could slot in pretty well with just the default maps and shields into Halo 5. But that's obviously something that I or 343 would have to test out themselves. And I know, like, stealing modes from other games isn't the coolest thing to do, but sometimes when it fits really good into your game, you might as well at least try it out. And you could always put some Halo flares on it. Like, unlike in Call of Duty, you wouldn't just respawn with your loadout because that's crap. So you'd still have power weapons on the map you'd have to fight for, and maybe it's not a 2-point capture mode, maybe they do something else, maybe it's 1 capture, or maybe they do like back in Halo 3, and Halo 5 might have had it, but they added all that stuff late, like Oddball and Bomb. But maybe it's like a 1-bomb mode where there's the attacking and defending team with limited respawns. You could do all sorts of different stuff with it. Don't get me wrong, I still want Halo to focus on its core gameplay modes that have made it successful for years. But I think that having a round-based mode with limited or no respawns that is accepted more mainstream would be a benefit to the series. Think of how Search and Destroy, or even Control, is played in Pro COD, versus how Breakout was quickly shunned from the HCS and ignored by a majority of the player base. Not everyone loves those modes in COD, but for the most part the player base does not mind them, and there's tons of players that are basically just SND players to a certain degree. Anyways, those are just kind of my thoughts on Breakout going into Halo Infinite. I thought the game mode was decent in Halo 5, but it definitely wasn't perfect. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and sub to the channel. I also stream on Twitch semi-regularly, so that link along with my Twitter and Discord will be in the description. And I'll see you guys next time.
He's going back, man.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! 1 HP!